Don't you hate it when you've had a long day at work, get home, it's already dark outside, and all you want to do is work on your video about the community mod? You know, the series of videos with community votes, I mod, and we see what we can come up with together. And the best part is, the controller's all done, we'll give away the controller to one lucky member of the community. Wait, what's this? No way, it's here!
So before we get started, let's hear a word from our sponsor, PCBWay. Did you know PCBWay offers solder masks in more colors than just green? That's right, they've got red, yellow, blue, white, black, purple, matte green, and my favorite, matte black. Anyway, make sure you check out PCBWay, link in the description below, and thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring this video.
Well, I wasn't expecting anything from Amazon. What the heck is this? Oh, it's from subscriber Josh, and he sent a note. Rocker, I'm going through my garage sale pickup closet, and I have this controller that needs some love. The controller needs a new paint job, new sticks, has a chewed up cord, and is dirty as hell. Any shot you can give this thing some love? Well, thanks, subscriber Josh. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet, but I'm sure we can find something to do with it. Now onto this other package. I guess I already know whose it's from. Oh, come on. I mean, who calls in the middle of the montage? Ignore. Okay, seriously. Who is calling in the middle of my unboxing montage? This is ridiculous. Oh, man. It's Pucho. All right, let's patch him in.
Hey, Rocker, what's going on, brother? So, I heard that you're making another community mod. That is so cool, but I was thinking that what is it just you to get to have all the fun building this controller? I have an idea. How about if we just get together, rally up a team of modders, and everybody builds something for that specific controller? So, I go first. I just send you a box. There is something on that box. Check it out and see what you and the modders and the community can do with that. And we go and start from there.
Wow, that's a fantastic idea, Pucho. We should absolutely make that happen. And how could I say no when you sent such an awesome and beautiful pearlescent green with color shift plum controller shell? It looks outstanding. Of course, I also love the Triforce at the top, as The Legend of Zelda is one of my favorites of all time. But where am I going to get a controller for this thing? So about assembling that team of modders, it kind of feels like high school gym class, but heck, I'll play along, especially when I get first pick on the dodgeball team.
Now you're all in big trouble.
Anyway, let's go ahead and do it. First up is Pucho Magic, aka Spraymaster Flex. He's already delivered a work of art and truly done this controller justice. Next up is PingPong, aka Resin in his Veins. PingPong is the owner of Pop Off Customs on Etsy, which specializes in Gamecube custom buttons, thumbsticks, and shells. And last, but certainly not least, is King Curb, aka The Code Poet. This guy's going to help us do some work to really bring this controller to life. More on what that means in a later episode. But this is the team of modders that I have assembled to help me do this community mod and make this controller as best as it possibly can be. Okay, with all that fun out of the way, let's get into it. As mentioned by Josh earlier, this controller has some serious problems, least of which is the tape and horrible paint that you see on the cord and on the controller shell. However, this controller has one incredibly redeeming factor. You see that CE logo with that one dot right there? That means this controller has T3 stick boxes in it, which in general are considered the most desirable. However, based on the field test, these stick boxes are dead and in need of replacing. But let's figure out exactly what's wrong with this thing. So without any further ado, let's rip this thing open and get into it. With the controller finally ripped open, it's time for the moment of truth. And oh man, she's as ugly on the inside as she is on the out. Oh, there's so much hair in there. It's like a cat was playing with this controller. It's not even human. But hey, a free controller is a free controller. So let's get out the alcohol and douse this controller in it. Fortunately, I stocked up on a ton of this stuff before it flew off the shelves. And yeah, we're going to absolutely douse this thing in it and clean it up with a paper towel. So the first thing I'm going to do is desolder the cable from the controller PCB. Now I have very sophisticated desoldering tools, but I like showing it with desolder wick as I figure those playing at home will probably be using something like desolder wick themselves. Why we're desoldering the cable and what we're going to do with it, we'll get into in a later episode. Okay, so with the cable removed, next up we're going to go ahead and remove these stick boxes. So we're going to use some desolder wick again to do this, and just some general advice when using desolder wick. I like to lay the solder wick in between the pads and the pins, and then gently lay your soldering iron on top. There's no need to use a lot of force or anything like that, just literally lay it on there and allow the wick to soak up the solder. Just make sure when you're doing this to use plenty of flux, as it'll significantly help this process. Finally, just make sure to clean everything up with a little bit of IPA and a Q-tip or a little bit of paper towel, and you should be all set. Okay, with all that done on the thumbstick, let's rinse and repeat on the C-stick. The only other incremental thing you're going to see me do with the C-stick is flip the jumpers from the top of the board to the bottom of the board. And the reason why is because there's going to be a mod we're going to do a little bit later on, and it is going to require the top of the board to be clear of those jumpers. So I bet you're wondering what this Wii controller's doing here.
I wish that I could bake a cake made out of rainbows and smiles, and we'd all eat it, be happy.
She doesn't even go here.
Do you even go to this school?
No.
So these Wii Classic controllers have a surprise inside. They all use T3 stick boxes. These will be perfect replacements for our controller, and the best part is, these can be had for absolutely dirt cheap still on eBay. I got this one for $9 shipped. Hard to beat that. So I'm going to rinse and repeat the same desoldering process, as well as clean these out really well with some isopropyl alcohol. Time to solder those stick boxes in. You know, it's funny, doing the soldering is very similar to doing the desoldering. You want to take your soldering iron, you want to heat the pad and the pin at the same time, and then you're going to want to introduce your solder to it. You should get some melting of the solder and get a nice well-wetted joint, which is exactly what you want. I'd also highly recommend flux. I'm using this liquid no clean flux here, but the paste flux will work just as well. Finally, the last bit of soldering I'm going to do here is put those jumper wires on the back of the C-stick PCB, as previously mentioned. Okay, with clean thumbstick and C-stick installed and ready to go, it's time to add some joystick butter. Joystick butter is a lubrication that's used to make the joysticks nice and feel brand new again. In my experience, this stuff works absolutely great, and the best part is it takes just the tiniest bit, maybe just half a grain of rice or so in each of these different spots that I'm putting it. And with that, guys, the controller PCB has been refurbished and ready for the next mod. And for the next mod, I'm going to kick it over to PingPong to go ahead and cast us some absolutely awesome buttons and sticks. But this is where I need your help. You guys have to tell him what color those sticks and buttons need to be. So here are your options: gold, midnight purple, plum crazy purple, copper, yellow, orange, black pearl, or white pearl. So to cast your vote, all you got to do is leave a comment in the comment section below, and that vote will count as your entry into the actual giveaway for the controller at the end. The only other stipulation is you got to be subscribed. So if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you do so. Also, make sure you check out the description of the video, as I've left some additional ways to gain additional entries for the controller giveaway in the gleam.io link. If you enjoyed this video, I've dropped a playlist here at the end with links to the previous community mod videos, which turned out absolutely amazing. So make sure you check them out if you missed them before. But with all that being said, I look forward to all the banter and nonsense in the comments below. And PingPong, do the community proud, man. See you guys for the next one soon.